Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to Mark Alford's Capital Recap. I'm Congressman Mark Alford, coming to you from our nation's capital in Washington, D.C., actually in my office at 328 Cannon. By the way, if you ever get a chance to come to Washington, it is beautiful this time of year. We're a couple of weeks ahead of the weather there in Missouri, so it's warming up here. I'd be glad to have you in my office. Hey, I want to talk about what has been going on in our committee work here on Capitol Hill this week. On the Appropriations Committee, the new committee I'm on, we had a State and Foreign Operations Subcommittee. Now it's called National Security and State and Related Programs. But we deal with a lot of things. We deal with the USAID program, or used to before it moved over to the State Department. We had what's called Member Day hearing, where if you're not on the Appropriations Committee, you can come and give testimony about some of the things we're going to be deciding on the Appropriations Committee, where some of this money is going to go out of our federal budget. These Members' Days allows the congressmen who may have something to say on that to come and testify before our subcommittee. We asked the Democrat ranking member of the Committee on Foreign Affairs, his name's Gregory Meeks, about why USAID and all the crazy programs that you've heard about recently, how was it allowed to go on for so long and go off the rails under his leadership in the first place? Take a listen to some of that questions and answers.
I understand you're the ranking member on Foreign Affairs. Is that correct? How long have you been on that committee?
I've been on the committee for 26 years.
How did these programs that we have so much consternation over, which really led up to the decimation of USAID, whether you agree with it or not, how did those programs get authorized?
United States Congress.
Through Foreign Affairs?
We are the Authorization Committee and you are the Appropriators, yes.
Right, but the programs which were deemed frivolous, the gender ideology programs, the ones that our chairman has spoken of, how did those end up passing the Authorization Committee to be in place to begin with?
Well, members of Congress, those on the committee, Democrats and Republicans, we had individuals, whether it was the Biden administration or the Bush administration before that, or the Clinton administration in my times here. We had dialogue, we had conversation. There was always room for reviewing and holding accountable, and folks would come in to testify. We want to make sure that the intent of what we authorized was carried through. And I would say that the intent of, is there always opportunities to review and to go back and to change certain things to make sure that the intent of Congress is moving forward? Yes. So there, and there's congressional notifications that are required.
Right. Was there any talk while this was going through the process through these years, especially when the Democrats had control of the U.S. House and had the gavels in that committee, was there any talk that you may be pushing it too far, that this may come back to bite us in the butt and we may lose everything if we push it too far?
What we did, the talk was, and what we did was always try to make sure that both sides, Democrats and Republicans, would have their view, would talk through it. There was compromise, and we would then agree to what we think that would be beneficial from coming as far as the United States committing to the rest of the world. Very proud of the fact that USAID had said from the American people to the world, because the USAID was the face of our soft power going around the world. And so we generally, in my 26 years until recently, we worked in a bipartisan way on that committee, trying to get to where we are. What's shocking about this is, without coming back to Congress, without having a dialogue with us, is just the abrupt cut by this administration. But we could have easily come back and talk about and review as we've done in years past.
Well, I think that's a little too late now. It seems to be that USAID is dead. It's going to relive again under the State Department, I think under a different name. I personally feel that if we're not investing in national security projects in other parts of the world, and a lot can fit into that bucket, we probably shouldn't be spending taxpayer money on it. The average appropriation, I think, over the last couple of years has been some $40 billion for USAID, and a lot of projects fit into that. How would you suggest, in the short time we have here, that the State Department now take this, and you will have some oversight in this as a ranking member, how do they redevelop and save the programs that are important for our national security?
Well, let me just say, I don't think the struggle is over yet, because I believe the actions that the president has committed are illegal, and we're in court. And the courts will have the final words on whether or not what was done was justified, and whether the president had the power to do that.
Well, I don't know about you, but that's pretty disturbing. It all boiled down to compromise. And as Margaret Thatcher said, compromise is the absence of leadership. All right, let's talk about our small business hearing, where we examine the impact of all the burdensome regulations on small businesses. I love being on this committee. I'm the chair of the oversight subcommittee for this, but this week we talked with Eldon Johnson. He owns a trucking company. A guy named Patrick Montalban. He owns the oil and gas company, and they've been really killed by the over-regulations from the Biden administration. And then Buddy Hughes. He is the president of the National Home Builders Association. We talked about the common sense actions that Congress and President Trump are taking now to get rid of all this red tape that is strangling small businesses and killing businesses in America. Here is some of that exchange this week.
I don't have a woe is me attitude. I am glad we are getting the $1.7 trillion loan portfolio over to the Small Business Administration. Finally, maybe 300,000 square feet of office space that was previously unfilled will be filled with people actually at their desk working for the American people. The student loan program should never have been the business of the federal government to begin with. But now we have it. Let's do something about it along with the Pell Grants. Mr. Montalban, Biden's war on fossil fuels costs jobs, as you know. It's estimated that it cost up to 59,000 jobs, either people laid off from pipelines and fracking or jobs not realized. And yet, in less than 3 months, DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, has laid off some 30,000 federal workers out of some 33 million. That's less than 1%. And yet there's all this outcry. Are federal workers guaranteed a job for life, sir?
No, Congressman.
Are workers in the fossil fuel industry entitled to a job for life?
No.
Why do you think that there's so much outrage over less than 1% of the federal workforce being laid off, and no one gave a hoot about 59,000 workers and also farmers who have gone out of business because of the high input costs from fertilizer that's made out of natural gas? All these implications, the President of the United States targeted the fossil fuel industry, but he trained the crosshairs on the backs of our farmers and the backs of people who work for you. Why is that? Why the discrepancy?
Well, first of all, it's nice to have common sense back in government. And second of all, I don't think that we should be paying any student loans. I put myself through college. But the bottom line is, in our industry, with Department of Interior Doug Burgum, Chris Wright with the Department of Energy, and Lee Zeldin in the head of the EPA, we think we have a new future in the oil and gas industry, the small independents, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Hughes.
Well, as you can tell, I got pretty fired up about that. Hey, you're listening to Mark Alford's Capital Recap. When we come back, we are diving into our town hall. Speaking of getting fired up, I know a lot of you were fired up about us not having a town hall. Well, we had one, and we had thousands of people participating. You won't want to miss some of our questions and answers for the Town Hall series. Stay with us. You're listening to Mark Alford's Capital Recap. Welcome back to Mark Alford's Capital Recap, where each week we take behind the scenes to show you a little bit what's going on. And let's talk about our town hall that we had Monday. If you didn't get a chance to be a part of that, you missed out. Here's a little sample of what went on.
We have our very first caller tonight. His name is David, and he is from Lebanon, Missouri. David, what's on your mind?
Hey, Congressman. I hope you're doing well.
Doing great.
Great. So the economy is probably forefront. You know, I'm a big Republican and Trump fan, and really a big believer in the economy. But I've been pretty disappointed in the last couple of months, and we're retirees, and our portfolio has taken almost $100,000 hit. And I keep watching the news, and they say it's transitory, and Trump says hang in there. And today I heard, hey, if the economy if it doesn't turn around, 26 is going to be tough for the House of Representatives in the midterms. So I just wanted to see, I'm hanging as good as I can, but it's painful.
Well, David, thank you for calling. Stay on the line. I want to make sure I answer your question. But yeah, I don't want to do a Bill Clinton and say I feel your pain, but I do understand where you're coming from. This is a difficult time in our nation's history. The tariffs that are going to be enacted, the reciprocal tariffs in tomorrow or Wednesday. I know the stock market necessarily hasn't been doing great. The stock market isn't always a great arbiter of a barometer, I should say, of what is going on in our economy. Our goal, let me explain this, David. Our goal is through this reconciliation package, and I hope we get a chance to talk about this tonight, we have got to do something to turn our economy around. We are $36.5 trillion in debt. And if we don't do something, we are going to go broke as a nation. So President Trump, with Doge and Elon Musk and all those others, professional men who've left their businesses, we're not talking about students in their hoodies in their parents' basement. These are people who are going in and making substantial cuts. And why are they doing this? Well, we're trying to save as much money as we can for you, the taxpayers, but we're also trying to create an economy where the bond market is not going to get spooked. If we continue adding debt, the interest rates are never going to come down. The idea is to bring those interest rates down, to start drilling and fracking and open the pipelines once again, and to deregulate some of this overregulation that is stifling small businesses. And the plan is within the maybe third quarter, maybe fourth quarter, that we're going to start seeing a turnaround. It is going to be a short-term pain for a long-term gain. I know that sounds trite, but I don't know how any other way to put it. We are going to have to kind of tough it out for a little bit. I like to say, so David, do you have a mortgage?
No, I do not.
You have a car payment?
We have no debt.
No debt.
Debt-free.
You're a Dave Ramsey fan? All right.
Yes, I am. We are big Dave Ramsey fans, and we did everything he said, and we made smart decisions. And I'm a retired Army officer as well. So
God bless you. Thank you. So the average person, though, has got a mortgage, got car payments. Maybe they're saving some 401k, hopefully giving to God. But there's not a lot left over for the average family at the end of the day for the paycheck. Imagine if you got a bill in the mail for $286,000 that you had to pay. Well, David, that is your share of the national debt. $36.5 trillion divided by 130 million families in America. That's about what it equals out to. So we've got to make sure that we're turning this around, that we're finding the waste, abuse, and fraud where we can. We're going to get into Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid later tonight. We are not cutting those programs, folks. No matter what the Democrats say and how much they lie to you, I see it all over Facebook, all over Twitter, everywhere. We are not cutting those programs. We're going to kick people off of Medicaid who shouldn't be there, like illegal aliens. They've discovered, I think more than 1 million of those are on Medicaid. But otherwise, we are going to try to turn this ship around. And David, I understand your investment portfolio is down. I feel for you in that. Mine is down as well. But hang in there because the sunrise is coming. Thank you, David. Jeff Harriman says, I accept people make mistakes, but attacking a reporter after adding him to Signal and sharing secrets isn't right. What do you think? So this is the story about Signal and Pete Hegseth and Michael Waltz, who's a friend of mine. I've met Pete, but look, they screwed up. They shouldn't have been talking. This was not classified information. It was sensitive information, but it was not classified. I'm trying to find out because you can't go into a SCIF. I go into a SCIF occasionally, a secret compartmentalized information place where we go in and it's lined. You can't take any phones. I can't even take my hearing aids in. And you share information face to face. But in today's society, there has got to be a portal to share information Signal is a secure portal. It was that app was deemed safe by someone in the intelligence agency for the White House to use. They used it. Somehow they screwed up getting this reporter in there, and I don't know how that happened. But Michael Waltz said, "Hey, I made a mistake. Somehow this guy's number got sucked into my phone. I don't know how that happened, but they're going to find out and they're going to correct it. But it's not like the end of the world. No secrets were given away. No war plans were given away. No classified information was given away." So thank you for that question.
Well, I'll tell you what, a lot of people didn't think we were going to have a fair town hall. It was fair. We didn't really screen the calls. People got on with our screeners and were quite angry, and we wanted to have them on. And then when they got on, they were very respectful, as how it should be. An open, honest discussion about the issues. I wish that we could do that in an in-person setting. We are going to do that in August. That's when we do our town hall tour. We'll have about 16 stops, so look for that on our website. Hey, I am so thankful to continue working with you and for you in Missouri and here in Washington. We're always working for you. We're always available for civil discussions to share your thoughts, concerns, and ideas. I don't care if you're a Republican, Democrat, or Independent. Also want to remind you about the services that our great team can help you with on the federal side. If you need help with any federal issue, whether it's VA, Social Security, you need a passport in a hurry, let us know so we can help you out. All the information on how to do that is on our website, alford.house.gov. We have all the phone numbers there, all of our office addresses. Before we go, I want to share some of the truly life-changing work that our Casework team has been doing for our constituents. A guy named Mr. Woodard contacted our office. He had declining mental health issues. He couldn't continue serving in a meaningful way in the Air Force. So after our office got in contact and after a lot of consideration and review, and we got all the documents from his mental health providers, the U.S. Air Force approved Mr. Woodard's request for an early separation in September of 2025. Thank you for your service, Mr. Woodard. Another guy named Fred contacted our office. He had a leasing issue. He was wrongfully charged with something, and that he now finally received his lease agreement with the correct amount, which was pretty cool. I mean, we don't normally step into cases like this, but we are problem solvers. The USDA had calculated the amount incorrectly, and it wouldn't confirm the $108 a month correction that had been made before his appointment to sign the agreement. And if he didn't sign the agreement, he was going to get thrown out. We didn't think that was right. We stepped in. We are the true problem solvers. Our team was able to help resolve this issue so that he is in his home as we speak. Fred told us, he said, "Words can never say enough to express my deep appreciation. I truly thank you." Well, Fred, we thank you for contacting our office. Folks, these are just two of the long list of highlights that we've gathered over our time in office. We have helped constituents get back more than $3 million in federal benefits that were due them that the federal government was holding on to. So if you've got an issue, please call us. We want to help. You can also on our website sign up for our e-newsletter. It comes out every 2 weeks. It's a great way to keep up to date with what's going on. Go to alford.house.gov to do that. We're going to start something new on this episode of Mark Alford's Capital Recap. You know, we send out a Sunday scripture every weekend on social media, but I want to share with you what we're going to be sharing on social media this weekend. It is a scripture from Isaiah in the Old Testament, chapter 43. Isaiah is one of my favorite Old Testament books. Verses 19 through 21, "In the desert I make a way, in the wasteland rivers. Wild beasts honor me, jackals and ostriches. For I put water in the deserts and rivers in the wasteland for my chosen people to drink, the people whom I form for myself, that they might announce my praise." You know, sometimes life feels like a desert. It's dry, it's exhausting. You don't know what the future holds, but that's okay. God is not finished. God is working in ways that we can't see yet. He's bringing life where there once was lonely bareness. So don't forget, God's renewal is near. If you're in a season of waiting or struggle or uncertainty, I know a lot of people are uncertain with what's going on in our country. Don't worry about it. God is in control. The God who delicately created you is making a way. He has a plan and purpose for your life. So keep your eyes on him, trust in his faithfulness, get ready to see some new thing that he is going to do in your life. Thanks for listening to Mark Alford's Capital Recap. Thank you for allowing me to be your voice in your vote in Washington. It is an honor of a lifetime to be here, voting on your behalf to make America great again. Be back next week with another edition of Mark Alford's Capital Recap. Until then, remember, I believe in America. I believe in you, and I believe that our greatest days are still ahead of us. Until next week, good day, and God bless.